Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 10th, 2025 City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. It is a busy time of year, a beautiful day today. I think it got up to 82 degrees, so it was very nice out there. And during this time of year, when spring starts coming in, we start seeing a lot of events starting to be planned and a lot of events happening. So I wanted to encourage everybody, if you're looking at things to do this spring, there are so many opportunities to volunteer and get involved in your community. I know there's different committees that are working on either Lamar Days or the 9/11 parade or different activities throughout the summer. All of the different entities are out there looking for volunteers on a daily basis. And even us here at the City of Lamar, we're always looking for people to join our boards as a member, as an advisor for some of our advisory boards. So if you are interested, I'd encourage you all to reach out and try to get involved in your community this spring as we continue to move ahead into 2025. With that said, we do have Deborah Tamez here tonight to lead us in the invocation. Deborah?
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this great nation that we live in. We thank you for the leaders and the governing authorities that you put into place, everyone from the president down to the mayor, down to the city council. We ask, Father, that you would just pour out your wisdom and your counsel upon them. Lord, as they make decisions that will affect our city, that will affect our nation, Lord, would you just pour out your spirit and give them wisdom and discernment in every decision made. And we just thank you for the men and women who serve so faithfully and give of their time, give of their knowledge, and love their community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Councilman Tamez, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:01 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Shayla Mata. Here. Jerry Jenkins. Here. Kirk Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala. Manuel Tamez.
Here.
Brent Bates.
Here.
Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen Swartz. Here. Lance Clark.
Here.
Okay, we've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda and the agenda. Did we have any changes to the agenda first?
I didn't see any that needed to be made.
Okay, no additions, no changes. On the consent agenda, I did not see any items that needed to be removed for separate voting. So does anybody else see anything on the consent agenda?
No.
No.
No? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, actually, there were a couple of items. Thank you, Linda. There were some corrections on the minutes for the last city council meeting. In the minutes of the last city council meeting, there was a mistake of not changing from Mayor Crespin presiding to Mayor Pro Tem Tamez presiding. I was not here that evening, so we have 6 or 5 different items that would need to be changed for the name. So we would need to include that change in the motion, as well as on the consent agenda, there were items 1 through 4 is what's written in the minutes, but it needs to be 1 through 3. So we have, did we count a total of 5? Is that right? Of the name changes or 6? 5. 5 name changes on the last meeting minutes, as well as the change for the consent agenda items from 1 through 4 to 1 through 3. So when we make the motion for the consent agenda, if we can just include that, is that okay to be included on your motion?
Yes.
Okay. And on the second? Did we have a second yet?
Second.
With that included?
Yep.
So I have a motion and a second with the modification to the last minutes included. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Oops. All those in favor vote. All those opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Moving on, we have a public comment portion of our meeting. The audience participation portion is anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to the council on an item? Okay, seeing none. Just like to remind everybody that's watching or that is following along that The audience participation is your opportunity to talk to the council about any items that you are interested in providing to the council, whether it's informational or questions. We cannot take actions during this time, but we can at least get the information, jot it down, and investigate or do what we need to from that point on. So we will move on. Since there is no audience participation, we'll move on to the city treasurer's report. Kristen?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I didn't have a lot to report on tonight. We did open bids for engineers for the TAP grant. It was actually a request for qualifications. So I need to meet with Rob and Pat, excuse me, and go over those, and we'll be bringing that back to you at the next meeting for you guys to approve that. We did, Tess and I attended a webinar that DOLA had put on regarding federal funding. We still don't know much, and we haven't gotten a response back on our brownfields monies either. So I don't have a lot to update on that. There's just a lot of questions out there, a lot of people with questions. So they took all of our questions. They're going to get back to us on that. And so hopefully we'll get some direct answers here pretty quick. But it just feels like nobody really knows on the federal funding. So Tyler is moving along. I did log in last week. I had 3 days of 8-hour meetings. Got some information loaded into it. We're still working through some of the uploads and things like that. So I am logged in, did some intensive training. Thomas was getting logged in today, and he's doing training as well. We're starting to get training out to the staff that's going to need it first. So we're working on the financial module right now. Payroll will come next, and then we'll do utility billing. So it's going to move pretty quickly from this point on. So it is going forward. So, and that was all I had this evening, unless you guys have questions for me.
I want to thank you for spearheading the Tyler conversion and helping out on that. That's for sure. The same with Thomas. I know it's big undertaking, and I know it's going to take a lot of work. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for spearheading the training as well.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
Linda. Thank you.
I'm a small part of it right now.
Small part of it right now, but you will be something. We'll all be part of it. So, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that said, we'll move on to the city clerk's report. Linda?
So the January sales and use tax collected in February was $408,187.16, which was up 14.5%, or $51,699.67 from 2024. Our year-to-date collections were $1,002,760.75, which is up 5.23%, or $49,872.61 from 2024. And that is all I have for tonight, unless anyone has any questions.
Anyone have any questions for the city clerk?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for getting that, Linda. And then the next item would be the city administrator's report. Rob?
Yes. So Coffee with Rob this month will be at Brew Unto Others on March 19th and March 26th, AM Breakfast House in April. I think I'm going to do it all at AM Breakfast. I'm going to go back to how I did it 1 month at a time at one place so people can, I've had a couple say, hey, I missed it. It was the wrong. So I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to come up and they don't have donuts there at AM Breakfast, but I'll figure out some way to keep you entertained. Lamar Elk St. Patrick's Day Casino Night is Saturday, 15 March. That's this Saturday. 7 to 11, 25 per person, 40 a couple, and 100 for a table of 6. The District 6 Southeast Colorado Lions Convention is this week, the end of this week and weekend, March 14th to 16th at the Cow Palace Inn. The Tri-State 9/11 auction and fundraiser is March 22nd. It's also at the Cow Palace Inn. It's from 6 to 9. And some of the things that are happening with the departments, I know that the Public Works, they're going to see a lot of people working in alleys or putting some millings. They're doing a lot of work in alleys. So there's going to be people walking all around. If you see somebody, they're doing work there. They're also doing the lead line service inventory. They're also testing for lead in service lines. So they're doing some state mandated work there. Parks and Rec is working on Escondido, and they're working on the agreement with the LCC for the maintenance. Let's see, library. Sue says, please come to the library. Give her lots and lots of stuff to do, right, Sue? Right. I know IT is working with Kristen and has been really hard on Tyler. So great job, Thomas and Bryce. I know they're doing a lot of camera work, and we're the police and fire, as we did our walkthrough at the public safety building. There's a lot of issues we're trying to do in the interim until we get it fixed up. So we're going to get some security out there. Going to make sure that people know that it's not a place to break into. Anything else miscellaneous? I know we had some skunk sightings, and we were trying to take care of those because it's warm and everybody's coming. They're coming out.
I do.
Mhm.
I've noticed now that spring's coming.
Mhm.
You're seeing a lot of trucks with trailers with junk on them, and to me, it's not safe. And there's a lot of
You mean
trailers. and
18-wheelers?
No,
Oh, okay.
they carry trash and everything. And there's one that I go down on 6th Street, South 6th, and come up by Cedar, and it's kind of dangerous because he has wood sticking out of it, like pieces of lumber and stuff.
They definitely have regulations on
Yeah.
marking and.
So if they could just keep an eye on that,
Okay.
because it's starting to get out of hand again.
Sure.
Okay. I was asked by Doug Harbor if for the Saturday, March 22nd, the
Mhm.
9/11 auction and fundraiser,
Mhm.
he had asked if we needed to get a table. So he was asking me if I could check with the council and see if we can get a number of how many might be in attendance. And he said they set it up to where you can buy the tickets at the auction. But as many people have been inquiring, he'd rather reserve tables early. So
It was full last year, wasn't it?
yeah, it was packed last year. So if anybody wants to attend that dinner, please let me know and I will get that arranged with him. So if you want to think about that, check with your significant others and see how you want to handle that, just let me know. And then the other thing is I met the new athletic director at Lamar Community College, and we had a brief conversation, but he wants to get the athletes more involved in the community. And one of the things that I brought up was how in the past we used to have the city cleanup day, which is a huge undertaking. But he said he would be interested, but at the same time, if there's something else that we could do instead, or if there's some other projects that we need, he did want to talk to us about it as far as community service and helping out in the community. So I wanted to throw that out. If you can talk with Pat and see where we can utilize their assistance, that would be greatly
Sure.
appreciated. And whether it's one or the other, whatever it may be, if we can look at that we can work with them and see how we can utilize it. Okay. Any questions for the city administrator?
I don't have any.
All right, seeing none, we will move on to reports and correspondence from the council. Joe, start with you.
The golf board will be meeting tomorrow, so I really don't have much to bring forth, but they will be doing an annual meeting here, March the 22nd, around 6 p.m. They will be voting on their dues, to up their dues. And they will possibly be voting in a new board member. I believe there's one up for grabs right now. And this month, March the 29th, they are doing their icebreaker tournament. That is going to be, I believe, a scramble, and that's going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're a golfer, please grab a team and head on out to the golf course and support them. And right now, but that's all I have for the golf board. The tree board is not met.
Okay. Shayla?
I don't have an update this evening, but I want to take a second to thank Light and Power for all their hard work after those lovely windstorms we had this last week.
Indeed. Jerry?
Public Safety Board doesn't meet until the 20th, but I do have a request that I passed out to everybody. A young lady approached me by the name of Christiana Montanez, and she's the student president of Yahweh Today, the Christian club at Lamar Community College. And she is wanting to get our support and use the Bicentennial Park, I'm confused where I'm at right now, to end their march there. They would start at the community college and then walk up Savage, go down to the football stadium, the old one, and then end up doing their final march at the Bicentennial. And she got me the information just Friday, so that's why I just brought it in to talk to you guys. But she'd be more than happy to come to our next meeting and talk to the council and see how she can do this, if there would be a charge, or if she can use the Centennial Park to end their festivities there. And it will be on April 12th, and they'll go at 12 o'clock to set up and everything, and then they will start their march at 1 o'clock.
And generally, they don't have a problem with bicentennial because it's not really utilized, but I would suggest maybe having her reach out and have her go to the Parks and Rec,
Okay.
and they can reserve through there, right?
That's correct.
Would you guys like for her to come and talk about this, or is this good enough what I passed out to you guys, or?
If she comes talk to us, I don't think there'll be a problem. If she wants to come back and get more visibility, I can always put that on
Can you put her on the agenda for the next
next
city
meeting.
council, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Manuel?
We meet this Thursday, at 5 o'clock, Water Board.
Brent?
Main Street Lamar met last Monday. There will be new light pole banners going up in the near future. We're waiting on brackets to get in. Local artist Leandra Chavez designed them, and they have arrived. We are also gearing up for Corporate Cup. So if you are wanting to get your business's team enrolled, get with Brenda May so we can get you in. It always fills up, and it's always a great time. And that is all I have.
Okay.
Brent, I have a question for you, sir. On the corporate cup, how many members does it need to be for a team?
Team sizes are at 15, but you can pay extra to have more members on your team. Can't remember off the top of my head what the per team cost is, but then there's a per player cost after 15 players. And you are encouraged, like if you wanted to do something and you don't have enough, employees, you can get with other businesses, body shops, mechanics, whatever, and create a team. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. As for me, I did have a visit with one of the members of the senior board. They would like for me to go and attend one of their meetings. I'm not sure who our senior center advisor is, or
It was Mike
liaison is.
Bellamy.
It was Mike, so it would be Shayla. So I didn't know if you wanted to, we can try to schedule to go together, and they just invited me to go and attend as well. So we'll try to do that on the next meeting that they have, and I'll reach out to you. There was also, I had an opportunity, I was asked to go to the Cub Scout Pack 223 to talk to them about being the mayor and being an elected official and what we do in these positions. And I did get a nice thank you card from the Cub Scout Pack 223, and it was signed by the different members. So I want to give them a shout out and say thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to the club. That was really great to be able to share that experience with the kids and answer their questions. And that's all I have. I was supposed to meet with Powers Medical Center earlier today, but I didn't make it. So Rob
Yeah.
attended in my stead. Did you have any items?
Well, at those three that I sent you earlier, she's, gosh, I don't have that right here with me, but I know that she encourages us to use the OBGYN, their full force, and with the news coming out of La Junta that they're going to have a lot of business out there. I know that she said that we're going to have two in May. They'll have two full-time general surgeons. So there's going to be a lot more capability there. They've increased their orthopedics. They've doubled up their number of days they do orthopedic surgeries and procedures out there. So they're doing a lot of work and getting a lot done out there. They really are.
Yeah, they've been really expanding, and it's nice to see that. I know I had spoken with Karen back in October when some of this happened, and I know it was when some of it started the talk started about them losing their OBGYN area in La Junta. And I just mentioned to her that it was great that we have that here in our community, and it kind of helped to her leadership that she's doing out there and trying to keep our hospital alive and thriving. So I want to thank them, the PMC and the board, for keeping it alive, because it's getting more and more difficult. We're hearing that more and more rural communities where they're losing their hospital services, and for us to double up on the orthopedics procedures and then have new surgeons as well as have the birthing clinic, it's just it's different for the rural areas compared to what the trend is. So thank you for that. With that said, I think we're done with the reports and correspondence, so we will move on to our agenda item. Agenda item number 1 is consider approval of Sand and Sage Roundup request. This is initiated by Cindy Bennett and Diane Pope. We have a visitor here tonight with Diane.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Good. Thank you for having us again. We're asking for overnight camping at the city park when we have the Wild West Barbecue Cook-Off, which this is our 21st year, I believe.
So the request letter had on there and on our
Wrong
agenda,
dates.
it had May 9th through May 11th, but that is incorrect. Is that right?
Yes, we have requested through the KCBS to change it because there's so many activities going on in May. And you have graduations and Mother's Day and Cinco de Mayo, and then we have Lamar Days. So we bumped it back into April
Okay.
to kind of help the Parks Department too.
So it'd be April 24th through the 26th,
Yes.
right? Okay. Thursday, April 24th through the 26th. And you're looking for overnight camping for the barbecue cook-off teams
Yes.
starting on the 24th.
And they usually park there on First Street. All the teams do, and then down in the park also.
Okay.
So
All right. Any questions from the council?
I don't have any.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Sand and Sage Roundup request. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Shayla?
Unanimous in favor of?
thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you very much. That
Yep.
was easy.
Hope to see you guys there.
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
should be. All right, the next item on the agenda is a Ports to Plains Alliance, request for letters of support for the CDS and CPF allocation to update the Lamar Reliever Route environmental assessment. I had asked to have this put on for Mike Duffy to speak to us. Mike?
Thank you, council, for allowing me to come before you. This just came to me last week, and as many of you know, back in 2013, a plan was put in place for the Lamar Reliever Route, and an environmental assessment was done at that time. But over the course of 12 years, that update needs to be, or that needs to be updated. And so applications were sent to me from our president and vice president of Ports to Plains Alliance, specifically from Congresswoman's Lauren Boebert's office, as well as a joint application between Senators Bennett and Hickenlooper. And all we're asking here, there's no money from a standpoint of the city. It's just basically asking for a letter of support that would say, hey, let's follow through with an environmental, actually updating the environmental assessment for that Lamar Reliever Route, which many of you know goes from about Road CC south of Lamar up across Highway 50. It'll eventually would cross the railroad tracks and the river and tie back into 287. This is a big thing in terms of safety. The amount of trucks that are going up and down Main Street are increasing every day. There's some specifics. I don't know what you had in your packet, but I had forwarded the draft applications.
We just have the letters of
Just the
support,
letters of
so we can
support
review the
were
letters of
written.
support.
So I hadn't seen what actually that was written. If you want to read that, Mayor.
On behalf of the city of Lamar, I urge you to support the Ports to Plains Alliance application for the congressionally directed spending to update the environmental assessment for the US 287 Lamar Reliever Route. The city of Lamar is a member of the Ports to Plains Alliance, and the completion of the Lamar Reliever Route is important to the overall enhancement to the Ports to Plains trade corridor. The corridor could substantially advance international trade between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. The Lamar Reliever Route was identified in 2004 Ports to Plains Corridor Development and a management plan published by the Colorado Department of Transportation Oklahoma Department of Transportation, New Mexico Department of Transportation, and the Texas Department of Transportation, anticipating completion between 2011 and 2015. The initial US 287 at Lamar Reliever Route environmental assessment was submitted to the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, and the Colorado Department of Transportation by the Colorado Department of Transportation Region 2 Transportation Director, Colorado Department of Transportation Chief Engineer and Division Administrator, Colorado Division. Federal Highway Administration on August 15th of 2013. It must be updated before the project can be further developed. Lamar has a longstanding history of refuge for travelers dating back to before the Santa Fe Trail. The thoughtful planning and implementation of the US 287 Reliever Route will make a significant impact on Lamar's future. And that would be the letter that he is requesting to have us approve. That would be sent to John Hickenlooper, Lauren Bobert, and Michael Bennett on behalf of the city of Lamar.
And to add to that, I know here in a couple of weeks, I'll be headed to Washington, D.C. again to kind of meet with those representatives as well as some of the other stakeholders in Congress. Last year, when I was there, right at the end, legislation was signed down in specifically for Texas, making a portion of 287 in Texas, Interstate Highway 27. And eventually at some point, that's going to be interstate all the way from Mexico through to Canada. So obviously, it's going to be a few years off, but, the planning, and this is for fiscal year 26 is what they're planning on this congressionally directed spending. Anybody have any questions?
No, I don't think so. Do you?
Just as a reminder, I had asked when that gentleman came and spoke with us for any information, data on economic impact, both on the city and county level of those communities who have seen reliever routes like Boise City. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as these letters of support took, but I would still like to receive some information in the near future.
To addressing that, I've been doing some research and reading through some white papers. Specifically, there's one that I'll get with you at some time. I'd like to sit down and talk with you one-on-one, perhaps, or even the council. Anybody else wants to join us. There's several small towns comparable to the city of Lamar that there's some good and there's some bad, and it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a lengthy report, and there's some other research that I've been doing as well. But I'd like to kind of get with you and kind of go over that at a convenient time.
Absolutely. And I'd appreciate if you could forward those to my city email.
Sure,
That'd be great.
I will.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve or deny these?
Make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support.
A second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is schedule a public hearing for a special event permit for the Lamar Chamber of Commerce Cinco de Mayo event. Do we have any representatives from the chamber? Nope.
No, this is just on me.
Okay, so this is,
The Lamar Chamber of Commerce submitted an application for a special event permit to host a beer garden during the Cinco de Mayo event on May the 3rd, between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. The city must grant permission in writing, if approved, for the Lamar Chamber of Commerce to host the beer garden on city-owned property before the application can be approved by council. I am requesting that we schedule the public hearing for April 14th at 2025 at the Lamar Chamber of Commerce, and also post in the post proper notice in the local paper.
okay, so we just need to schedule the public hearing. Do we actually need a
Schedule the
motion?
public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to schedule the public hearing as requested. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item is appointment of an alternate member to the Adjustment and Appeals Board. This was initiated by Stephanie Struby. Doesn't look like she's here tonight. Rob, did you want to talk about this one? Or no? Or Anne Marie?
Did she talk to you about it at all? So there are times when not all board members can be at those meetings. I think the other thing that's in effect is one of the board members is building a house and will be moving out of range of being on the board. So when he is finished with this house and does move, then that alternate board member can assume that seat. When the council decided to eliminate the variance board, that he was a member of the variance board and said he'd be interested in serving in a different capacity. So it was a way to honor board members that were participating and no longer had a board to be on.
And the board, they don't have bylaws for this board or anything
No,
that
they
they
do.
have to go by? Or-
She's working on them, but as of now, they don't.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it had the
The
flexibility
have
to
it.
have the ability to have the alternate.
I've talked to her about the bylaws, so I know she's working on them.
Yeah.
And I can help her finish them once she gets them drafted. So
Okay. Okay. So we'll have that in there or verified. Okay. Okay, council?
Make a motion to accept or to consider Earl Hawkins as an alternate on the Adjustment Appeals Board.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Earl Hawkins to be considered as an alternate on the Adjustment of Appeals Board. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item is an appointment to the Library Advisory Board. This is initiated by Sue Lathrop, our director.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Sue.
George Gatto's term expired in February, and he would like to re-up for another term. This would be his second full term on the library board. We did put out for applications, and his was the only one we received.
Okay. Any questions for Sue?
I don't have any.
I think everybody knows George Gatto.
I move that we accept George's application to be on the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve George Gatto to the Library Advisory Board. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item is CDOT Aeronautics Grant Agreement 25-LAA-01, Runway 1836 and Taxiway A Pavement Maintenance, initiated by Patrick Mason, our Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So CDOT Aeronautics contacted me about a month ago saying that they were working towards approving this discretionary grant for $300,000. It's for some spall and crack repair on the main runway, and then also to put an asphalt treatment down on top of the remaining taxiway that hasn't been replaced or rebuilt. So the city has a $33,334 cash match that would have to match the 300,000 with on this one. So they've changed up their program a little bit where used to we could just sign things and move on. Now they ask that city council approve a resolution, allow the mayor to sign it, and then they'll send you DocuSign documents sometime in the next few days once they get the resolution back signed for signatures on the actual grant. So
this is for the resolution to approve that.
Yeah.
And to designate you as the project director.
yes.
Okay.
So in the motion, can we get basically to say that?
So the motion would need to be as recommended down below, the full amount, just so we can make sure to cover everything. Anybody like to make a motion?
I just have a question. The cash match, is that part of a budget? It was. Okay.
Everything look good to you, Lance?
yeah, I reviewed it. Similar grant agreement that we've seen before on this. I didn't see any issues with it.
I move to approve the resolution for the CDOT Aeronautics Grant Agreement number 25-LAA-01 and authorize the mayor's signature as well as authorize the mayor's signature via DocuSign for grant acceptance or other action.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second as read. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay, next item is FAA AIP grant application for Airport Improvement Project LAA AIP 027.
Yeah, so this particular grant is our bipartisan infrastructure legislation funding that they gave us here a few years ago. I think we've got this year and one more year of that left potentially, but if council recalls last year when I came and asked for grant approvals for the Taxiway A project, we were actually a little short. And so the FAA agreed that at that time we could go ahead and apply for our BIL funding this year to cover the overruns. So that's what this amounts to more or less, is we're asking for those funds in the amount of $91,000 in BIL funding. And then it also would require a local 5% match from the city of 5,056 and 5,055 respectively. So to the CDOT, Steve would also do a cash match on it with us as well. So that'd bring the total amount to $101,111.
And that's for all the repairs on the remaining repairs. That's
Right, for the reconstruction of the taxiway that we finished just right after the 1st of January, I guess. So
Okay.
cover the remainder of the project, I hope so.
All right, council.
I move to approve the LAA AIP 027 grant application and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the LAA AIP 27 grant application, authorizing me to sign. Any final questions?
That was a long grant application, wasn't it?
It was,
Yeah, very long grant application. And you reviewed it as well?
Scrolling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Scrolling.
application. I went through it. I didn't see anything concerning that stood out to me, but largely just being an application. It's not so much as a contract at this point.
All right, with that said, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is approval of amendment to agreement with the State of Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. This is initiated by Kristen Schwartz, who's been managing this or overseeing this. Would you like to
yes,
speak on it?
Yes. You guys had approved a lease agreement with the state of Colorado for the Workforce Center. We had amended it a year or two ago to add the janitorial, yes. Thank you. Couldn't find my word. The janitorial services. So the state had reached out to Rob and I, and they have been actively looking for some other office space. They have somebody that doesn't work full-time. They didn't need all of the space, so they were trying to find something else in town that they could accommodate. So they came back to us and started visiting with us about it, and Rob was interested in sharing the space with them so that he could put some offices, the city offices down there in that space. So we started negotiating an agreement, and they would need 3 of the offices. And so what this is before you is an amendment to the original contract, and it's the same dollar amount on the lease with the janitorial services, but the square footage has changed. They would need to share the space in the conference room. They were thinking possibly maybe once a week for an hour or so, but they could schedule that with the city. They don't pay rent on shared spaces, so we work that out with them. They do have someone in one of the offices that's in a wheelchair, so we're making sure that we can accommodate all of that. Stephanie's checking on all of that for us. So we're just asking you to approve the amendment. It works out really nicely for both of us and meets both of our needs. They've been wonderful to work with. So we're just asking you to approve the amendment and allow the mayor to sign it. And they would want this effective April 1, so that that would allow us to start taking up some of that office space. They will be having a rack of computer equipment in the mechanical room as well, but they'll have that locked and all in one, tidy spot. They're starting to work on moving all of their furniture and equipment out of all of the other offices, and we'll have that done before April 1.
And this was area that they had leased before, the office space.
Yes, it's just
Same
that
spot.
west side. It doesn't affect the senior side at all. It doesn't change anything.
Okay.
The man in the wheelchair does, we have already accommodated him. He comes through the front door of the senior building. Stephanie's working with getting some bids from contractors. We're going to put an automatic door opener on the internal door as well for him. So to make sure that he can get in, but it doesn't change the space. They were already, as far as it doesn't go on into the senior side or anything. It's the same space that they were renting prior. We just picked 3 offices, and you can see on your map down there on the one end, so they could all be together. But they'll be vacating the reception area, and the break room and, some other things that are back in there, so.
Okay. Any other questions from the council?
I don't have any.
I've reviewed it. I don't have any issues with it.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended and allow the mayor to sign.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, last but not least, well, not quite last, but close. We do have an item here to approve a resolution 25-03-01, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado, expressing opposition to the federal agency's intentions to acquire state, local, and private land unilaterally without local government collaboration or use of established process. Many of you may have already heard about this in the news and through the county. This is the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridor, the NIETC corridor that they've been working on, and it does go on the eastern side of Prowers County. They are looking at a wide swath of land, some say a little bit more than they actually need, and it's going to affect a lot of our local farmers and ranchers in the area in a negative way because they're looking at doing this, not only asking for the wider land, but they're looking at doing this under a unilaterally without any kind of a process. They're going to do it as, what am I thinking?
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain. Sorry, I was drawing a blank there. As eminent domain. So they'll get pennies on the dollar for the land that can be used for farming and ranching. So it is a big issue for Prowers County, and it will affect a lot of our residents. The county commissioners asked me if we could do a resolution similar to what they did in opposition of this without engagement. There was a public comment request that was supposed to end on February the 15th. They extended it till April the 15th so that we can get in, so more people can get in their comments in opposition or in favor of to the organization that's handling this. So we would actually, if we approve this resolution, we would send the resolution to our representatives as well as submit it for public comment as well. So that's what it's all about. And it is duplicated. I had asked Lance to work on it with Anne Marie, and Anne Marie helped as well to take it and glean the information from the county's resolution and make it fit for the city of Lamar. Any questions? Oh, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move to approve the resolution and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution and authorize me to sign. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Last item on the agenda would be miscellaneous items. Do we have any miscellaneous items to review?
I have one. Mary asked me to let you guys know that there've been quite a few people signed up for CML, but there are still a few that need to come in and work out their itineraries and give her information. And I know that there's been some scheduling difficulties, but please try to make time and work with her. She'll talk you through on the phone if you need to or anything like that.
I talked with her. I emailed her earlier this morning about getting with her. So
Okay.
I'm going to go through the itinerary and then get back with her. So
Okay.
I made contact with her this afternoon.
Good.
I'll reach out tomorrow. I already have it all set up. I just need to print it and get it to her. So, All right, next item on the agenda, and the last item is an executive session for discussion of personnel matters under Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 24-6-402, subsection 4, subsection F, which is evaluations for the city administrator, city clerk, and city treasurer. We do this annually. There will be no discussion or no decisions coming out of the executive session. Shortly after the executive session, we'll just adjourn and adjourn the regular meeting as well. Do we have a motion to go into an executive session? Motion, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Who was the second?
Opposed, same sign. It was Jerry. Brent? Okay.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, like I said, there'll be no decisions coming out of the meeting. We'll adjourn right after. Our next council meeting is on Monday, March 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. We hope to see you then.